Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senaparatna. Grab your favorite drink, get yourself a snack, and we'll get started. Today I have Ceylon Supreme tea. It is one of the best black teas that I've ever tried. A little bit of cream and sugar because it's kind of strong. And I have homemade chocolate chip cookie dough. I wish I could show you a picture. In fact, I'll put a picture on social media if you want to see it, but you don't really care because it's cookie dough and that's delightful. So let's get real. Today we are going to talk about something that I am obsessed with, I love, and not a lot of people know it. I absolutely love baking. It is one of my favorite things to do. The only problem is we don't eat a lot of it because I am really about salty, not about the sweet, and things go to waste at my house. So when I was in my 20s, I took a class. And it was a cake decorating class. You bought the tips, you bought the bags, it was like the whole thing. I think it was like 4 weeks or maybe 5 weeks of like learning how to decorate cakes. Now, when I was a kid, my grandmother made the most amazing cakes. She was one of those people that like you'd say, "Hey grandma, can you make a transformer cake?" And she'd be like, "Yep, absolutely." She'd get the pan, she'd put the star chips, and you would have a transformer cake, a strawberry shortcake cake, a Care Bear cake, anything in the 80s and 90s that you wanted, my grandmother would make us a cake. And even as a kid, I thought they were just spectacular. Although one year I really wanted a McDonald's cake and my parents were like, "No, your grandmother's making you a cake." And I was like, "I just want to be like everybody else." And now I look back going, "Oh, that's disgusting." My grandmother's cakes were delicious and beautiful. Anyway, and so I've always just wanted to be everything that my grandmother was. Like, she was just an incredible woman. And so I want to be like her in every way if I possibly can. It's not working. Let's just be honest. I cannot grow a cucumber to save my life. I have tried many different things and I cannot grow cucumbers, guys. It is a mess. So I have to buy them, even though I hate a cucumber and I hate pickles, but someday I'm going to make pickles. Anyway, you don't care. Let's move on. So I decided that before my daughter was born, that I was going to make every one of her birthday cakes. That was on my bucket list. This is something I'm going to do. Absolutely. And now she's an adult and I did it. Every year but 2 years, I made a birthday cake for her. The one year my mother-in-law made a princess cake. That was really cute. And the second time, we bought cupcakes from a big box store for a surprise party. So other than that, I made them. So like she would pick out a theme for her birthday and I would make a banner, I would make a wreath, and I would make cupcakes according to that different themes. So like one year when she was little, she had My Little Ponies and I made a rainbow cake with every color of the rainbow. I made zebra cakes. I made a Mickey and Minnie cake. I made a cake that when you cut it open, you could see different colored polka dots inside. Like, I love baking. It is so fun. And so this weekend, my daughter came home and she was feeling a little blue, was not feeling super great, kind of feeling worn down. And so she was in the back of the house. Now, I just realized today as I was talking about like the back of the house, the front of the house, you're like, "Jenny, that's really weird." And I think I've said this before, but we live in a trailer. So it's like the front is by the road and the back is not by the road, right? So that's how we describe our house, where most people are like up or down or left or right. We're the back and the front. So she's in the back of the house and I'm whipping together these cookies, this cookie dough that I'm currently eating today. Yes, I've had several bites. It's okay. We're all going to be fine. I am a cookie dough eater. And I'm whipping this thing together and I'm trying a brand new recipe because there are different recipes for baking cookies and eating cookie dough. Like if you don't know this, like Jenny's here to teach you. There are different recipes for different things. Like my favorite baked chocolate chip cookies is my grandmother's recipe, and it uses Crisco. And I'm telling you, that does not make a good cookie dough to eat. It is disgusting to eat, but it is delicious when it's baked. So you have to have different cookie dough recipes for different things. And so I'm whipping this thing together, and it is bread. It is not bread. It is flour, eggs, sugar, a butter or Crisco or shortening of some type of vanilla, a little bit of leavening, and some salt. And then you add a flavor. And you know what? With that simple recipe right there, you can make dozens of different kinds of cookies, cakes, muffins, really anything you want. You just change the ratio, and it is just phenomenal. The things that you can do with those super simple ingredients. It is just, flour, sugar, eggs. Sometimes you need a little bit of milk, leavening, and you're there. Like, you can make anything with these things. And so I'm sitting here and I'm putting flour in, and I use butter for that one because I really enjoy the flavor of butter. And I'm doing this, and I realized that these are very simple things that can be changed into many different things. And when you put them all together in the right combination, it is pure magic what comes out. And how often in our lives we make things really complicated. We just kind of get to the point that we overcomplicate a change in our lives. We overcomplicate going after a goal. We overcomplicate really almost anything that can be done, we overcomplicate. Let's just be completely honest. When we're looking at our New Year's resolutions, we make them super complicated. We're like, I am going to be someone that changes the world. That's a really bad goal. Because it's impossible to get there. Like, how are you going to get there? What are you going to do? Like, the SMART goals, whatever. But really, what we should be doing is looking at cookie dough and going, simple things make a huge difference. You put them all together, and it is phenomenal. Like, it is just a phenomenal thing to have. You put some flour, some sugar, some leavening, some butter, and you have the most delicious thing on the planet. And I think we need to go back to making simple changes and making simple decisions in our lives. There is such a thing as decision fatigue. Have you ever heard of this? This is maybe just a Jenny thing. I don't think it is. But making so many decisions that you really can't make them anymore. You just get overwhelmed by something like, should I wear black shoes or brown shoes? And you kind of just all of a sudden burst into tears at the end of the day because you're like, I can't make this decision. Okay, that's maybe just me. But there is such a thing as decision fatigue. So sometimes you have to make small changes that make a big difference. Now, one thing I want to talk about here is our words. Our words are powerful. Our words are things that one or two words can make or break someone's day. I still remember words that were spoken over me in first, second, and third grade, which was 40 plus years ago. I still remember things that teachers or adults or other children said that have shifted my mindset on what I think about myself. So that is something that is an easy change, right? It is a super easy change. It is something that you can be like, I am just not going to yell or say something mean to someone when it's not their fault, right? How often have you been in a scenario, maybe not you, maybe someone else that you're watching, and you're at one of the big box stores and you're shopping and something goes wrong and they're yelling at that poor cashier that has no way of changing what's happening. That poor cashier is taking the abuse from someone that's super angry about something that happened that is not their fault. And you're like, all you need to do is say, okay, we can be kind, right? We can be kind with our words. We can be like, this is really disappointing. And I understand that's not your fault. I will deal with this in my own way. I have said that to cashiers where I'd be like, you know what? They're like, I am so sorry. And I'm like, you know what? This is super disappointing. Yes, I'm really frustrated, but I'm not frustrated with you. But, still you can have a good day. It's not their fault. We can make or break someone's day by the words that you say, especially on social media. And I know that this is a touchy subject. I get that. But could we start saying a quick little prayer before we say something on social media? Can we take a minute and think about what we're putting out there? And because people are mean. People are just downright mean. My husband has a TikTok account, and the things that people say to him blow my mind. I'm like, I can't even imagine thinking that, let alone typing it and putting it to a complete stranger. Our opinion does not matter that much that we need to be mean to people, okay? I realize that none of you are doing that, but there's my little soapbox and I'll get off of it for a minute. Use your words wisely. Use your words wisely. Use them for encouragement. I'm telling you, the people that you want to be around are those who encourage others. My daughter is one of those people. I just want to spend time with her, not just because she's fabulous and she's my daughter, but she is an encourager. She is someone that when you're around her, you feel like $1,000,000. I can wake up in the morning and my hair's sticking straight up and I look like death warmed over, and my daughter is like, Mom, you are so beautiful today. I just yes, I am. Be an encourager. Use your words simply. But really the thing when I was thinking about this cookie dough and I was working with it and, making it beautiful and then tasting it and it was lovely, was the small habits. So a couple of years ago, I made the decision to start walking, right? That was something I decided. It's made a huge difference in my life. I feel 100% better. I used to feel sick all the time, and I just started doing walking. Now, am I walking 5 to 10 miles a day? No, I am not. That is just, I don't have that kind of time. In fact, it's just not something that I care to do. But I started doing something super simple, like parking further, going to the end of the parking thing when I'm running errands and walking into the store. Now, if you're going to 4 or 5 stores in a day, that makes a big difference. Even when you're going to one store, just a couple parking spots makes a big difference. You park 2 or 3 out because it's negative below, which is what it is in Minnesota right now. And even the other day when I went to a store, I parked 2 or 3 out. I couldn't park as far as I normally did, guys. I was like, I'd like to get into the store without frostbite, please. And so I parked just 2 or 3 and I made that little jaunt. It was something small, something easy, something simple that I can change. I've done the same thing with my Bible reading. I've made it small, I've made it tangible, and I've made it something that I can actually do and not feel guilty about not being bigger. It's okay to do something in small increments. If you need to start eating vegetables, I know that's something that we're always working on in this house, then add a small vegetable. You don't need to be okay, this week I'm buying 7 new vegetables for us to try. You do one. You do one vegetable. We're going to try that vegetable this week, and that's okay. And you're going, Jenny, you only eat one vegetable a week? Well, no, we do eat some vegetables, but we're always trying to find new ones. And so I'm, hey, let's try this new recipe with this. I don't try 7 new ones. I try 1 new recipe or 1 new vegetable for that week. If you're trying to eat healthy, maybe you don't eat salads every single day, right? I have done that before. I have gone, you know what? We are going to be a salad family. Now, granted, I love a good salad with a lot of stuff on it, which is then not healthy. So, and instead of going, I'm going to eat a salad every single day at work. And I did that for 2 weeks once. I'm like, every day I'm going to eat a salad. And then the 3rd week, I ate a cheeseburger every single day because I'm like, I cannot eat a salad ever again. Maybe you say, hey, you know what? I want to be a little bit healthier. I'm going to replace one of those cheeseburgers a week with 1 salad. I know this is seeming very weird to you, But the concept is there. The concept is if you want to better yourselves, keep it simple, keep it small. It is small things that make something better and spectacular. Because you know what? I could have made oatmeal raisin cookies with the exact same ingredients. I just needed to change out the chocolate chips for raisins and put a little bit of oatmeal in, and they would have been delightful. A very different thing, but one small change makes something completely different. You see what I'm saying? I'm hoping that that's encouraging to you. I'm hoping that really, as you're sometimes I can feel really overwhelmed. I can feel really like I want to be better at and fill in the blanks. I want to be a better wife. I want to be a better friend. I want to be a better mother. I want to be a better podcaster. Like, I want to be better at so many things in my life. And when I look at it, I feel so overwhelmed. But when I go to the Lord and I say, Lord, I want to be a better podcaster. Can you give me one small thing to change? I can't start adding music. I can't do a lot of editing. That's just not something I'm gifted at. In fact, it just stresses me out. But give me one small thing that I can change. And he gives me one small thing, and that just makes things just a smidge better. Not spectacular. You're still listening. I appreciate that at this point. But, I go to before the Lord and say, Lord, I want to be a better wife. How can I do that? What is one small thing I can change that may just make me better? And a lot of times that's using my words. And a lot of times it's thinking before I speak. And keeping things to myself that do not need to be said. I do not need to be the person that is constantly telling someone what's wrong with their lives. That is not someone that I want to be. There are moments that you need to say something, right? Like, absolutely. But I do not have to be a person that when you meet with me, I'm going to tell you what you can change. That does not need to be me. I can be a listener, and sometimes not using your words is just as powerful as using your words. Well, that's all I have for this week. I hope that you hear my heart and that you see that small things can be mixed together and become something spectacular, just like cookie dough. You can find me at Real Life with Jenny on Instagram and Facebook. You can support this podcast by going into the description. It's buymeacoffee.com/Real Life with Jenny. Click there and support this podcast. I appreciate those who do. It really makes a huge difference. You can also go to my website, which is also in the comments. But really, I am really going to take that this year. I want to make small changes that make a big difference. So next year I can come back and say, wow, I just cannot believe how different I am because I brought this before the Lord and I said, Lord, I want to change this. Give me something small. I do that small thing and then, Lord, give me something else that's small. And think of the magic of cookie dough that I could have in a year from now. You all have a great week.